Love my energia. I also like my energia. Welcome to another fucking live. Trump's making an announcement soon, and we're gonna watch it together, but the other day he was almost an hour late. He was like actually an hour late. So we'll see how on time we are today. In the meantime, how are you? I'll probably fart on the plane ride home. Gross. Why would you say that? Hold it in. Or if you're one of those I can't hold it in people, make it quiet at least. What's the announcement topic? I don't know for sure, but I think just because they've been talking about it all week that he's going to change the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. I'm just guessing. We'll see. We'll see. Look into what happened in Australia. What do you think that person's talking about? Anybody know what happened in Australia? If he's talking about the, breaking and entering with the 3 guys that, broke in and killed some people. What is there to look into? Let's look at Australia news. While we wait here. While we wait for Trump to come and tell us whatever he's going to tell us today. You're about to get your first total lunar eclipse since 2022. Your rent is really high. Visitor takes gutters of historic buildings and scooters away. Is this what you want me to look into in Australia? What happened? Wong responds to Andrew's photo. What happened in Australia, dude? There's a huge demand for Australian indie video games. They crashed the server. A grandfather accidentally took the wrong child home from daycare. Man, you guys are nowhere near on the United States' level here. Someone said Barack Obama finally came out as gay. Well, Google AI says that that's a conspiracy theory. Harvard Kennedy School. Oh my god. Somebody is making a joke because somebody came over from Instagram onto YouTube just to make fun of my hair. Which is fine. Say whatever you want. We done been knowing, someone says, about Obama. Do we been knowing when the president's gonna show up? Because it's supposed to be now. It's supposed to be 10 minutes ago. And yet here we are, not watching the president say things. So did the guy from Australia ever respond? What did he want me to look into in Australia? He just said look into Australian. Like what? Hello, Rosalita. Someone's just going to show up an hour late for work and said it was the president. The president does it all the time. Oh, thanks, Erica. No one's really joining the live because nothing's really happening on the live. So just hanging out until this thing gets going here. What's the fucking news today? Because I'm your only source? Well, you know, I hope you're doing your own research and fact-checking after I tell you what's going on. But not a lot. I gotta tell you, it's a slow news day, guys. If I have time, I'll make a nice news. I know everybody's due. Everybody's been clamoring for a nice news. They're never on time. I know. And, you know, for a while, I was not being on time for my own lives. And then I thought, I should do that, though. I should be on time for my lives. And here we are. I'm on time. Where the fuck is the president? Associated Press is still outside the White House. So, what do we want to talk about instead? Where can you buy my merch? Theforkin.news is where my store is. There should be links everywhere. My link tree. If you're watching on YouTube, I think there's a link in the description. I'm not sure. There's always links to merch at the bottom of my newsletter on Substack if you're subscribed to that, which you should be. Yeah, don't forget to swing by the merch store while we wait for the orange guy. Should I make, like, Kellerman 2028 hats? Like Trump sells? Gotta get me some mugs and glasses, yeah. Hey. Then I can cheers you with my mugs and glasses. Can we talk about how this somehow is real life? Yeah, this is real life. Look, it's the White House. In real life. Well, you can't see it if you're on Instagram or Facebook, but if you go to youtube.com/Kellerman Comedy, you'll see the White House behind me. A live feed, I assume. And we're just waiting on Trump. Waiting for Trump to pop in. What are you all doing today? It's Friday. Are you all working? How about the House hearings are going with RFK? Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we watch that while we're waiting? Oh. Sounds like we're getting ready here. Do we want the White House feed or the Associated Press feed? I'd prefer the White House feed here. But they haven't started yet.
Thank you very much.
Okay, here we go.
We'll start by signing 3 very important bills. And Will, would you discuss them, please?
Yes, sir. This is H.R. 2808. This is the Homebuyers Privacy Protection Act. The congressman here was the lead sponsor, so I think maybe he
John Rose, yes.
say more about it than I
John,
can.
please.
Well, it's difficult for Americans to buy a home, particularly after the last 4 years, sir. But with the president's signature today, we're going to make it easy for people to buy a home without getting hassled. For years, their private personal information has been bought and sold in the open market, resulting in them getting innumerable phone calls and text messages. But with your signature today, we're going to put an end to that so that when Americans try to realize the American dream of owning a home, they're able to do so without being harassed.
Good job. Good. It's a great honor, John.
When we can afford a home? When are we going to be able to afford homes?
Okay.
It'll be hassle-free, though, when you can.
and that's going to help a lot of the homeowners of our great country.
Okay.
Good. Want to hold that?
Sure.
Does that benefit people who will be able to buy homes or people who are
Thank you,
currently
John,
able
very
to
much.
buy
Thank you very
homes?
much.
Thank you very much. Okay, Will, you go ahead.
Just love to look into that. This guy looks.
Gift from a constituent back in Tennessee.
Oh, I could use that at night.
It's an American flag.
That's very nice. I like that.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you
It's
very
an
much.
American flag Afghan.
That's very nice.
Nice.
Next, we have a number of executive orders.
They brought
for
him
your
a
attention,
gift?
sir.
Okay.
From 1789 until
What's the people bringing the
1947,
president gifts
our
all the
nation
time?
Won some of its
Seems
greatest
weird.
military victories.
I feel like that
under
wasn't
the direction of a
normally a
Secretary
thing.
of War operating within a Department of War. Today, with this executive order, you will authorize the current Secretary of Defense and the current Department of Defense to once again embrace this great lineage and once again be named the Secretary of War and the Department of War.
There it is.
So this is something we thought long and hard about. We've been talking about it for months. Pete and I and Dan. Dan came into the fold. By the way, a great general. He headed up the, I wouldn't call it an attack. I'd almost call that one maybe even more than an attack. What he did with Iran, you saw
Iran?
the success of that
More than
operation.
an attack.
It was perfect. In fact, we have, this was sent to me by the great company that makes that particular
You might even call
B-2
it
bomber.
an act of
And it
war.
was flawless. It was actually flawless. They flew for 37 hours back and forth, and there wasn't a bolt that was out of condition. There wasn't an engine failure. There was no problem. It was a perfect attack, and it knocked out any possible nuclear capability for Iran, which nobody wanted to see, and we weren't going to put up with. So, great job, Dan. And we've been talking about this Department of War. So we won the First World War. We won the Second World War. We won everything before that and in between. And then we decided to go woke and we changed the name to Department of Defense. So we're going Department of War.
I don't
And,
think that
I'd
the
like to
Department
ask
of
our,
Defense was a
Secretary
woke
of War
culture thing.
to say a few words. Pete Hicks, I think it's a much more appropriate name, especially in light of
Yeah.
where
What do you
the world
think?
is right now.
Tell me in the
We have
comments,
the
is
strongest
Department of
military in
Defense
the world.
woke?
We have the greatest equipment in the world. We have the greatest manufacturers of equipment by far. There's nobody to even compete. And you see that with this and so many other things. The Patriots are the best.
Isn't
Every
he
element
supposed
of
to
the
be
military we make
the
best by far.
leader of peace?
So Peter,
He wanted to be the president of peace, right?
Dan Raisingcane to
Not
say
a president
few
of war?
words, please.
Mr. President, thank you.
Literally, his words?
After winning a war for independence in 1789, George Washington established the War Department, and Henry Knox was his first Secretary of War. And this country won every major war after that, to include World War I and World War II. Total victory, Mr. President, as you said. Then 150 years after that, we changed the name after World War II from the Department of War to the Department of Defense in 1947. And as you pointed out, Mr. President, we haven't won a major war since, and that's not to disparage our warfighters, whether it's the Korean War or the Vietnam War or our generation of Iraq and Afghanistan. That's to recognize that this name change.
Well,
For customers like Jack,
I gotta-
great experiences
I gotta
aren't
deal
built
with
with
fucking
fast gas.
commercials.
They're built.
Restoring
I should have done the White
victory
House
and
feed.
clarity as an end state.
here,
Restoring
we'll switch. We'll switch over right now.
It's an American flag.
warfighters.
The sound is so much
It's
worse.
about restoring. Words matter. It's restoring, as you've guided us to, Mr. President, restoring the warrior ethos, restoring victory and clarity as an end state, restoring intentionality to the use of force. So, at your direction, Mr. President, the War Department is going to fight decisively, not endless conflicts. It's going to fight to win, not to lose. We're going to go on offense, not just on defense. Maximum lethality, not tepid legality. Violent effect, not politically correct. We're going to raise up warriors, not just defenders. So this War
Violent
Department,
effect?
Mr. President, just like America, is back. Thank you for your leadership.
I was, like,
and your
pretty
clarity. We're
okay
gonna
with
set the
everything
tone,
except
for
for
this
that.
country. America first.
That's a-
peace through strength, brought to you.
I thought we don't
by
want
the War
violence.
Department. We're back.
All right, thank you very much. Very well stated, and really it has to do with winning. We should have won every war. We could have won every war, but we we really chose to be very politically correct or wokey, and
It wasn't politically
we
correct.
fight
We just
forever.
weren't in war.
And then we, we wouldn't lose really. We just fight to sort of tie. We never wanted to win wars that every one of them we would have won easily with just a couple of little changes or a couple of little edicts. I was told that ISIS would take 5 years to win, and Dan Kane, when I told him how long would it take, he said, I think about 4 weeks, sir. I said, what do you mean 4 weeks? I was told 5 years by the people in Washington. You know who they were? 5 years. I said,
You
can't
know
do it
who
in
they
4 weeks.
were.
I actually flew to Iraq.
You know who they were, right? Let me know in the comments if you know who they were.
Remember that famous day, right? It turned out to be a famous day for our country because you're now the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which is the biggest deal. And he is because he did things that everybody said he couldn't do. So they said it was going to be 5 years, and he knocked
This
them out.
claim that it was
4
changed
weeks
to the
total,
Department of Defense
100%.
because of woke
He
is
took over. And
very
ISIS was
confusing
gone.
to me.
And pretty amazing. But we never fought to win, and now if we have to fight at all, we solved 7 wars. We have the one that I thought was going to be probably one of the easier ones, and that's with President Putin and Ukraine. And that turned out to be one that's a little bit more difficult, but the 7 are done. They were supposed to be much more difficult to solve. I solved every one of them, and we're going to get the other one done too. But it turned out to be a little bit more difficult than I thought. And it'll get done or they'll be held to pay. But because they're losing 6 to 7, it used to be 5. I used to tell you 5. Now it's almost 7. I guess 7,000 people last week. 7,813 people, young soldiers died. Russian and Ukrainian, not American soldiers. But it's a shame. And it's just, they're human lives, and I want to see it stop. But General Kane's done a fantastic job. And again, defeated
Cold
ISIS,
War.
which
It was a
they
Cold
said
War
would take
decision.
a long time. And it didn't take a long time at all, and did other things that.
So just to be
people
clear,
said really
the
couldn't
name was
happen. We have the
originally
greatest
changed due
equipment
to
in the world.
the
We have
Cold
the greatest
War.
soldiers in the world.
That makes
Dan,
sense.
say a few words, please.
Woke,
Yes,
woke
sir.
wasn't really a
Thank
thing
you, Mr.
back then.
President. It's a true honor for me today to represent the incredible men and women of America's joint force. Today and every day, the 2.8 million service men and women stand ready to fulfill our sacred duty to protect America at home and abroad. As the President said, America's military is the single most powerful fighting force in the world. The mission you and the Secretary have given us is clear and unambiguous to deliver peace through overwhelming strength. And I remind everyone that the U.S. military can reach any adversary at the time and place.
Can you guys
of
still
our
hear it,
choosing.
or do I need to switch
Service
back to the
this
other feed?
nation is an incredible gift, and we're grateful and honored every day to do so. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you, and it's an honor to sign this. And we will do that right now. I think that's a big one, I'll be honest. I think
It's a weird one. Kind of a weird one.
that's a big one.
It's a big one, Mr. President.
Do you have any questions on this subject? We're going to be discussing the G20 in a couple of minutes, but yes, please.
Mr. President, what gave you the idea for this rebrand? And a question for you, the newly minted Secretary of War. What message does this send to our enemies, to our allies, to the American people? And again, what gave you the idea for this rebrand at this moment in history, sir?
I think it sends a message of victory. I think it sends really a message of strength. We're very strong. We're much stronger than anyone would really understand. And again, having the great equipment, we have just so much better. You look at all of the, just any of it, submarines as an example. We're 20 years ahead of anyone else. Nobody even compares. And I let a lot of this happen in my first term. We totally rebuilt our military. And then, of course, you had that catastrophe in Afghanistan.
Have you seen
where
the
they gave
Chinese
up a lot
army
of the
dogs?
equipment, but a relatively small amount, but a lot.
I don't know, man.
It's a lot in Afghanistan. I think it was the most, General, I'd say it was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, the way that happened.
The most embarrassing
The way they
day in the history
went
of
to
our
the wrong
country. Do you
airport.
feel
They
that
should
way?
have gone to Bagram, not the local little airport with no security with tight quarters, etc. You know what happened. I think it was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, frankly. That was under the Biden administration. That was terrible. And we were going to be leaving, but we were leaving with strength and dignity. We were going to keep Bagram because Bagram's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. We're going to have that all to ourselves, a big, beautiful place built many years ago for money that today would be the equivalent of many, many billions of dollars. You couldn't build it.
People are saying the most
powerful runways
embarrassing
in terms
day
of
for
load
America
capacity.
was when we voted
And we
him in a
just walked
second
away
time.
from
Someone
it.
said January
So
6th.
stupid.
Tell me what you
And,
think was the most
we were
embarrassing
fools.
day for America.
People were fools. No, we have the strongest military, and I think that indicates we have the strongest military. And we had it, and we won World War I, we won World War II, we won everything before, and as I said, we won everything in between. And we were very strong, but we never fought to win. We just didn't fight to win. We didn't lose anything, but we didn't fight to win. We could have won every one of those wars quickly, but they went a route that I think was probably politically correct, but not correct for our nation. So I think the Department of War sends a signal. Yeah, please.
You alluded to this a little while ago, but you said that this rename is a, quote, a good reflection of where the world is at right now. How do you square naming it the Department of War when you've been pursuing peace in so many different parts of the world?
Well, I think I've gotten peace because of the fact that we're strong. If we weren't strong, those 7 deals I told you about, the 7 wars, a majority of them wouldn't have happened. They happened for 2 reasons: trade and our strength. Those are the 2 reasons. And
He means
probably
those are the
strength
2
may be
reasons the
more
bank didn't
important than
happen.
trade. So if we, I was very proud of all those wars. Those were wars that could not be settled, and I settled all of them. And we'll get the other one settled also. That'll get settled.
It's true.
But without the strength,
That's
we wouldn't
true.
have settled any
They
of
were
them.
things
Yeah,
that we weren't really focusing on, but he did end them.
Codify this name change in the law?
I don't know, but we're going to find out. But I'm not sure they have to. We're signing an executive order today, but we're going to find out. We're going to see. If they do, we're going with it, and we're going with it very strongly. There's a question as to whether or not they have to, but we'll put it before Congress.
Do you know how much this rebrand will actually cost? And are there any concerns about, the Pentagon's mission of
Yeah.
actually cutting back on spending?
But
and
not a lot.
places?
We know how to rebrand without having to go crazy. We don't have to recarve a mountain or anything. We're going to be doing it not in the most expensive. We're going to start changing the stationery as it comes due and lots of things like that. We're not going to be doing things like have been done in the past when they changed the name of forts that shouldn't have been changed. Those names of the forts should not have been changed, at least for the most part. And as you know, many of them have been changed back already. At the request of the communities, every one of those communities said, we want our name back, like Fort Bragg as an example.
Who was asking for this
People
change?
in that community wanted that name back. They refused to call it anything else but Fort Bragg. So we're not going to be spending very much money on that. Yes, please.
When you spoke with the Europeans and Zelensky earlier this week, did you preview this for them, and did you say what
Trump is
security
answering
guarantees
questions
they might be
for the
involved?
This
person who
has
just
nothing
turned
to
in.
do with anybody but the United States of America, the people of America. This is who I talk to about changing a name. This is a very important change because it's
He changed the
It's
name
an
from
attitude.
Department of Defense to the Department of
and
War.
we know how to win. We've been winning, and we're going to win like you've never seen. Wait till these
Even though he's the
factories start
president
to
of
open
peace.
up that are
So
being
it seems
built
like
all
a-
over the country. You're going to see things happen in this country
On
that nobody
change.
expects.
But
We have over
what do you
$17
think?
trillion in
Do you prefer it
investment
as the
coming into
Department of
country.
War?
We never did anything even remotely close to that. We've never. No other country has either, by the way. So you're going to see things that are pretty amazing. But it's really about winning.
And what about the security guarantees aspect of that with Ukraine, sir?
Well, we'll work that out. We'll help them. Look, we want to save a lot of lives, so we'll do something with that. I think people expect that. We'll help them. Europe will be first in by far, and they want to be first, and they want to see it end. Europe wants to see it end, and it'll end. It'll end all of a sudden. It's going to come together. You watch. Yeah. Did you want something, right?
What? What?
Yeah, behind you, please. Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna end all of a sudden.
Bold, decisive, offensive action to protect American values. Strikes in Iran, strikes this past Tuesday on the positively ID trend to Iraq by narco terrorists. Is that going to be a critical function of the Department of War?
It depends on the individual instance, you know. We don't want drugs coming in from Venezuela or anybody else or any place else, and we'll be tough on that. And we don't want human trafficking. We don't want to see people coming in where they open their prisons from all over the world and they dump their prisoners into our country, which is what they did.
The question, if
in
you
the
couldn't
Biden
hear it, was about
administration,
Venezuela.
where they took insane asylums and places that held people that were seriously mentally ill, mentally incompetent, mentally dangerous, and they dumped those people into our country, and we're trying to get them out now. What they've done, what the Democrats and Biden have done to this country will go down in infamy. What they have done to our country, and especially that, you know, they created the worst inflation we've ever had.
Well, COVID did that.
That's nothing compared to what they did with the people in our country right now. And we're getting them out, and it's not easy when you have the liberal judges destroying our country, but we've won them all. We've won it all, ultimately won it all. Hard process. It should be easier. We know who it is. We know exactly who we're looking for. We had 11,000 murderers dropped into our country. We've gotten a lot of them out. Or in some cases, they're so dangerous, we were afraid to get them out because they'd come back in. But for the last 120 days, 0 people came in. Can you imagine? This is me speaking, but these are figures developed by, they say, a pretty liberal group of people.
It's true.
They admit that 0 people came into our country. Think of that. A year ago, it was millions of people were coming in. Millions. They were coming in. You could look at them and you could say, big trouble. And that's what we have in our country. But we're getting them out, and despite that, we're doing really well. Yeah, please.
I mean, you may not agree with the methods, obviously, but
Yeah.
you can't argue that
Well, the recruitment's the most exciting
the
thing.
illegal
So,
immigration is down.
when I was campaigning for the office, numbers were coming out that the recruitment numbers, generally, you could speak to it better than anybody, the recruitment into the military, all branches of the military, and police and firemen and everything else. Anything having to do with like a public service, the numbers were horrible, record-setting bad. And now they're record-setting good. We're setting every record every month for recruitment. We're packed in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. My beautiful I love Space Command. I love Space. I see Space Command, but Space Force
Beautiful.
has been.
Beautiful
We've got
Space
a waiting
Command.
list of people wanting to go in. A year ago, especially a year and a half ago, you know, when I took the lead in the polls, which was very early, it really helped with the recruiting. And when I won from November 5th on, it's been amazing. And over the last 4 or 5 months, we're just packed. It was very hard to get police officers. Now the departments are loaded up. Everyone wants to be a policeman or a woman. So it's been
Everyone wants to
Do you
be a
wanna talk
police
about that?
officer now.
Sir, as you said, serving our nation is an incredible gift that we give, and the reward on that gift pays back exponentially year over year. And I think the young people of America are seeing the importance of service, and whether it's in any of our armed services or in local police, fire, or rescue.
Thanks, William.
Service is an important thing that I personally encourage, and I know everyone else in government.
Someone
service
says,
sees
my
it too.
hero Trump.
And Pete, on recruitment?
He's not who
I
was
down
talking
at,
just then.
Fort
but-
Benning, the newly properly renamed Fort Benning yesterday, watching Army basic training, and they're so full they can't barely handle the throughput. It is truly historic across all the services, as you said. It's been a surge into the, I was going to say the Defense Department, but I will say the War Department, and that you might almost call it a vibe
Heyo.
shift. An attitude shift, a feeling
Definitely
that the
an
country is
attitude
back,
shift
that service
from
is back.
defense to
There were
war.
military families last year, Mr.
Quite an
President, that said,
attitude
I don't know if I
shift.
can recommend, I mean, I wrote a book on this. I don't know if I can recommend service to my son or daughter, given what's been done to our military. You heard it over and over and over again. And I hear from those same military families right now, sir, and they're saying, I recommend to my kids that they go into this department, this Pentagon, under this commander-in-chief, who they know you'll have their back, and they want to serve. So it is historic, and it's the biggest reflection of how motivated Americans are by your leadership, sir.
You know, it really is nothing more than spirit, love for the country. I guess the esprit de corps, as they say, you have more of that than we've had maybe ever, frankly. But to see a turn, over a period of less than a year, I would say, but to see it turn, nobody wanted to go into the military. Now everybody wants to go into the military. Jennifer, you wanted?
Yeah, there's some new reporting on North Korea.
Yeah, it's called the Department of War now, not the Department of Defense.
Can you say if the administration has engaged with North Korea on that incident since it happened recently?
Yeah.
And then can you share some records?
I don't know anything about it, no. I'd have to, I could look, but I know nothing about
Can you
it.
confirm that it happened?
I don't know anything about it. I'm hearing it now for the first time.
Okay, great. And then on the Hyundai incident in Georgia with the arrest of some workers, construction workers at the plant, have you heard any feedback from Hyundai?
I just heard about that a little while before the news conference, and I would say that they were illegal aliens, and ICE was just doing its job. But I know nothing about the instance. It happened a little while ago. Okay?
There has been some pushback on that though from South Korea already, and of course, they pledged to invest $150 billion in the U.S. and they were just here, last week. Are you concerned?
Well, and they have the right to sell cars and things in our country. It's not like a one-sided deal.
Are you concerned at all about, your immigration agenda potentially clashing with these economic goals?
Well, we want to get along with other countries, and we want to have a great, stable workforce. And we had, as I understand it, a lot of illegal aliens, some not the best of people, but we had a lot of
Wait,
illegal
what?
aliens working there. So, look, they're doing their job. That's what they have to do. These are people that came through with Biden. They came
The
through
question was
illegally.
about
They came into
South
our country,
Korea
so we
relations.
have to do our job.
Mr. President, the now Department of War has been involved in the crime cleanup in D.C. You've tasked Congress with proposing and passing a crime bill. What are some things that you would really like to see codified in that crime bill?
Well, I think one of the things is the cashless bail. It's killing it. When that came out, the first time, that's when you saw the real big crime start to happen. Cashless bail, what a disaster that is. You murder somebody, you don't have to put up bail.
I'm also having
and
trouble
you go
hearing
out in
the
the
press
street, you murder somebody
questions.
else. That's what's happened. It happens so often. And that's one of the things.
They are not
other
well
than the
mic'd.
things you're reading about, it's just standard, but just a certain toughness. I have to say, one of the elements of fascination for people over the last period of time has been what's happened to DC. So we've gone from one of the most dangerous cities in our country to what they call a safe city. It's a totally safe city. In fact,
That's not like a
I
technical
set
term.
up dinner in
A
Washington,
safe city.
D.C.
It's
next
not what
week.
they call a safe city.
I wouldn't have done that, to be honest. I would have had an
The
obligation
city
not
is
to do
safe,
it.
is what he means.
Before I came
That's
into
not like a
office,
term.
or even at the very beginning when things were so corrupt and so dangerous out on the streets. So Washington, D.C. has had virtually no crime. We even have a mayor that's
thank you,
admitting to it, and she's
Arigato, Chad.
liberal Democrat.
Who says,
in all
"Thanks for
fairness.
all the
She's
information
a
as
person
always."
That hasn't gotten
You are most
exactly
welcome,
along
sir.
with Republicans over the years, and she said she's never seen anything like it. So Washington D.C. is a totally safe city. We have virtually no crime. It's gone from the most unsafe city in the United States, almost, just about, to one of the safest cities, maybe the safest city in the United States. That's a tremendous compliment to our military, what we did. The National Guard's done a fantastic job. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can I ask about Florida real quick? Florida House Speaker Daniel Perez was at the White House yesterday as part of a leadership summit.
Yes.
And we understand you met with him separately. Mr. President, what did you talk about? And also, did you explore him running for Florida from your
I didn't. We didn't talk about that, but he's done a fantastic job. He's respected all over the
Didn't
country
catch that.
as a leader, and he's done just a fantastic job. We didn't discuss anything having to do with his future. I'm sure he'd be very good at that.
My second question, Alligator Alcatraz, sticking with Florida, a major ruling appeals court blocked the federal judge in order to close it and it can remain open for now. Your reaction?
I think they've done a fantastic job in building it.
Alligator
The governor and
Alcatraz
everybody
is
else that's been
allowed
involved.
to stay open for now.
It's an incredible facility. It's housing people for usually a very short period of time before they get brought back to their countries. As you know, we focus on criminals before we focus on anybody else, and we're taking thousands and thousands of criminals out every month out of our country, some of them murderers. And I think Florida's done a great job by building it, and whether it's Alligator Alcatraz or anything else you want to call it.
What do you
I
guys
was
think
there,
about
I visited
Alligator Alcatraz?
With the governor, with other people.
For or
He's,
against? Let me know in the
I think
chat.
He was there. Tom Homan's been there a lot. A lot of people.
Thanks,
have
Jim
been there
Ryan.
It's an amazing facility.
And
for
thank
what
you,
it
Gina,
is.
who
It's
gave
not
me a
a
green
hotel.
heart and
It's
$2.
not supposed to be a hotel, but they've done a
Every
great
little
job
bit
with
helps,
it. I'm
guys.
very happy with the
I'm
judge's
telling you.
decision.
You also mentioned Venezuela. I want to ask one more follow-up question on that. On the U.S. strike on the boat tied to a Venezuelan drug cartel, the Maduro regime is pushing back today. In fact, they say the U.S. seeks regime change through military threat. Your reaction to those words, and also, would you like to see regime change in Venezuela?
Well, we're not talking about that, but we are talking about the fact that you had an election which was a very strange election, to put it mildly. I'm being very nice when I say that. I can only say that billions of dollars of drugs are pouring into our country from Venezuela. The prisons of Venezuela have been opened up to our country. They've taken their prisoners, the worst prisoners, murderers, Tren de Aragua. The worst prisoners that you can ever imagine are now happily living in the United States of America. Now, many of them we've gotten out. It's not easy to get them out because of the liberal system that we're working with in many cases, not in all cases, but millions and millions
Really,
of
Arigato.
dollars and billions of dollars of drugs are pouring out of Venezuela and other countries. Look, China, what they're doing with fentanyl is a terrible thing. It comes through Canada and it comes through Mexico, but a lot of it's coming through Venezuela. Venezuela's been a very bad actor, and we understand that. And when you look at that boat, you see the bags of whatever it is there. Those bags those bags represent hundreds of thousands of dead people in the United States. That's what they represent. Yeah, please.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong about that. He's talking about
Well, I'm
fentanyl
going to talk
coming
about
to the
that in a
country.
minute. We have our great people here, so I'll talk that in a minute. Let's talk about this. We'll give a couple of because these two people want to get to work on the Department of War, so let's keep them first. Yeah?
Mr. President, the DOJ is reportedly considering a ban on transgender people owning guns after the Minneapolis shooting. Do you think that they should?
Are we talking in the military?
In general?
Okay, I thought you were talking about in the military. I'll refer to that then differently. Because it's not a military question, I'll be able to pass on that very nicely unless you'd like to talk about it. No, Pete doesn't want any part of that question. Yes, please.
Mr. President, who do you blame for losing India
No
to
comment
China?
on the gun violence over the last weekend.
I don't think we have. I've been very disappointed that India would be buying so much oil, as you know, from Russia. And I let them know that. We put a very big tariff on India, 50% tariff, very high tariff. I get along very well with
Arigato
Modi,
says
as
he
you
wouldn't be
know,
surprised if
he
there's
was
another
here a
draft.
couple
Do
of
you think they're
months
going to
ago.
draft people in the
In fact,
United
we went
States?
to the Rose
We're
Garden.
not.
The grass was so
We're
soaking
not
wet.
at war. Do you think
It
that this is
was
a precursor to us going to war?
Such a terrible place to have a news conference. I said, well, let's use a beautiful white stone emblematic of the White House, okay? And it's been very well received. But we had a news conference on the grass. That was my last news conference I had on the grass because everybody sunk in. You probably sunk in. Every reporter out there, they ruined their shoes. We made that change. It's been a really well-received change. Yeah, please, go ahead.
On Venezuela, you've sent F-35s down to Puerto Rico, you've sent naval vessels into the Caribbean, you're concerned about drugs being illegally sent into the United
Yeah.
States. How do you describe this buildup, this situation?
Well, I just think it's strong. We're strong on drugs. We don't want drugs killing our people.
But then-
I believe we lost 300,000. You know, they always say 95, 100,000. I believe they've been saying that for 20 years. I believe we lost 300,000 people last year. I know families that lost their son. Those families
Wait, what?
will never be the same. I know
You
a
just
family
made up a
lost
number?
daughter, a beautiful daughter. In fact, it was like she took something that she thought was like a minor deal, and it turned out to be riddled out with fentanyl, the size of the head of a pin, and you're dead. And no, we're stopping the drugs. We're going to save a lot of people. Look, whether it's 100,000, but it's not. It's 350,000 people died last year from drugs. And we're not going to let that happen to this country. Think of that. Think if you're in a war and you lose 300,000. We'll lose 600,000 in the, pretty much between Gettysburg and all of that, the Civil War, we lost, 600,000. So we're losing half of that every year to drugs. We're not going to do it. We're not going to allow it to happen.
So the U.S.
You think
recorded
of the
approximately
wars.
105,000 total drug
600,000
overdose
people in a
deaths.
war, but we lose that every 2 years.
And Trump
more
just
than that.
says 300,000.
So it's 300 to 350,000 people. And when I see boats coming in, like loaded up the other day with all sorts of drugs, probably fentanyl mostly, but all sorts of drugs, we're going to take them out. And if people want to have fun going on the high seas or the low seas, they're going to be in trouble. I will tell you, boat traffic is substantially down in the area that happened. And they called it the runway. It's a runway to the United States. And boat traffic is very substantially down on the runway. You can imagine why. I think anybody that saw that is going to say, I'll take a pass. I don't even know about fishermen. They may say, I'm not getting on the boat. I'm not going to take a chance.
What happens if Venezuela flies jets over U.S. naval vessels again?
Well, I would say they're going to be in trouble. We'll let them know about that. We heard that happen, but it wasn't really over, not like they described. But I would say, General, if they do that, you have a choice of doing anything you want, okay? If they fly in a dangerous position, I would say that you can, you or your captains can make the decision as to what they want to do, all right?
Sure.
Sir,
How close
we
did
have,
they get?
we have one more.
You said they didn't go over.
Say it.
How close did they get? You said the planes did.
Well, I don't want to talk about that, but if they do put us in a dangerous position, they'll be shut down. Thank you very much, everybody. So we're going to now cover the G20, and I'm going to let these people go back to the Department of War and figure out how to maintain peace. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations, General. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Great job.
Sir, just before G20, we do have one more EO
Okay.
for you today. And I should also say
one
that
more
the
executive order,
Department
surprise.
of War EO that you signed was actually your 200th EO since you came
Wow.
back into office on January 20th.
200
That's
executive
more than,
orders.
Joe Biden did in his entire term in office, more than Obama did in either of his 2 terms in office. So it's a momentous accomplishment and congratulations.
That's good, but Biden never signed one.
No, yeah,
They
you've
were
done
signed
every
by
one
the-
up in here.
They've been signed by the auto pen, right, didn't he? So we really beat him by much more than you think.
The 201st executive order, sir, this
What
relates
be-
to hostages.
The auto pen and
lawfully
beating him
detained
aren't
Americans.
related.
This provides a new legal mechanism to declare foreign countries to be countries that engage in those sorts of practices and gives your administration powerful tools to get American hostages out. This has been a
Right.
focus of your administration. This time
200
around, Admiral
executive
was here,
orders.
And he's done incredible work
That's a
already.
lot,
This will
guys.
give him even more.
I think it's good, and
That's a
Adam's
lot.
amazing. So Adam, do you want to describe how many hostages we've gotten out together, you and I, and you and a couple of other people that we know, and
Yes,
me and a couple of other people that you don't know, but we've gotten a lot of hostages. Do you want to describe that?
Mr. President, you brought back 72 hostages.
This guy's holding up a graph
Uh,
that's
if we
totally
compare that to President
unnecessary.
Biden, he has gotten 20 taken.
The only
He is
important thing on that
negative
graph is the
20
number
taken.
72.
They don't take our people so
Yeah.
often.
So, Mr. President,
That's good.
when we spoke, you said that was a primary focus.
They printed
and I'll
out
tell
a
you the
bar
job
graph.
is easy because
And they blew it up just a little
We paid
bit.
nothing, too.
we paid nothing.
It's still-
in
Paid
exchange.
6
It's
billion.
still
They
not
always paid 6
readable.
billion for 5 people. 6 billion. It was just a number I kept hearing. Not only that, 6 billion plus we'd get like 1 person, and they'd get 6. They got one, the Prince of Doom, they called him. He was the #1 arms merchant anywhere in the world ever. And they got him out. And on top of that, we paid money. So, no, we don't do that. You know, once you pay money, and then a lot of people start disappearing. They start grabbing reporters, too.
Yeah, the boom mic dropping
They
in the
think the
frame is funny.
reporter is going to get a lot of money. And to me, they would. You'll be well taken care of. I better stress that, because otherwise we have headlines. He said this or he said that. No, I'm not smiling about it. But they would. They'd be grabbing reporters. They'd be grabbing everybody. And especially when you pay the kind of money that Biden and Obama, they used to pay money that was crazy. We don't pay. And if you don't pay, they find it to be not a lucrative business anymore. That's fantastic. Would you like to say something?
Sir, it's really Spihar, Special Envoy Bola, it's Rick Grinnell, it's Steve Witkoff who brought Americans home. But with this EO you are signing today, you are drawing a line in the sand that U.S. citizens will not be used as bargaining chips, and it provides your Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, the same tool set to punish states who take our citizens wrongfully the same way that we can punish those who sponsor terrorists. This is a very significant EO you are signing today, sir.
Thank you, Sebastian. Very good. You're doing a great job, too.
and this is your director for hostage affairs at the NSC.
Yes, and I hear.
So Julia was seminal as well to all of this.
I heard you're doing unbelievable. Would you like to say something?
Absolutely, it's a outstanding EO, absolutely unprecedented action against those foreign adversaries who would take our people. They now know they are on notice, and it's not acceptable. And if you take,
He
our
put them
people,
on
Adam
notice?
will pay.
You know, Adam gave up a job where he was making tremendous amounts of money, big stuff, top of the line, Wall Street, and he wanted to do this. He wanted to do hostages. I offered him other jobs too, very big jobs. He said, I was shocked actually. He didn't want him. He wanted to do hostage negotiation, and pretty amazing. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate
Interesting.
It. Thank you all. Do you have any questions for them on this very important subject?
I think it shows a lot of your leadership as far as fighting for Americans.
No, they're not talking about people abducted from the United States. They're talking about hostages taken
Oh, he was way
elsewhere
negative.
who are from the United States. U.S. hostages.
I think this does send a message to the world that we don't negotiate, we're going to stay strong in that type of what they call business.
One little anecdote that may be of interest. We
That
were
reporter
told by numerous families
didn't even ask a question. He just said
who
something.
had missing loved ones during the Biden administration that this building,
Someone says Trump is
Biden's
hiding his
National
hand
Security
right now.
Council
He
told
is
those
kinda.
families not to talk about their
He's
missing
got one
loved ones,
hand
to be quiet
over the other like that.
not to create any pressure on Biden and on Jake Sullivan, the key propagator of the Russia hoax.
But I mean, he's signed.
This administration
He's
has
signed
met with
2
those
executive
families
orders.
on a
He
weekly
does that
basis.
with his right hand.
People like Adam, yourself, sir, your envoys are doing everything to get every single American home. Not to tell them not to talk about their loved ones, but bring them home.
Well, you know, I can tell you one story that was amazing. A few weeks ago, very little written about it, but there should have been. But it was a very nice gesture. The head of Belarus, who's a very respected man, strong person, strong leader, he released 16 hostages. John Cole, a lawyer who works for me, great lawyer actually, one of the greatest lawyers. But John Cole was over there, and he heard that they had hostages. And you know about this. 16 people he released. And I just want to thank the head of Belarus. But while John was over there, they had, I believe, another 1,400 hostages. Now, not from us, from places all over the world. And just pretty tough place, in all fairness. But they had 1,400. And I believe they're going to be releasing a lot of those 1,400. They're not.
This happened in July, by the
I think
way.
very few, if any.
What
we
he's
got-
talking about.
We got pretty much hours back. And we didn't pay anything, but I very much gave my respects to the leader of the country. Was again, he's a very strong man. But he's got 1,400 or 1,500 or a large number. And we're talking about releasing them. Some are political, I guess a lot of them are political. And looks like they're going to be released at some point in the pretty near future. So it's a great thing. They have to respect your country. If they respect you and they respect your country, they release it. If they don't, then you have to pay $6 billion. I mean, $6 billion. Can you imagine that thing? $6 billion.
Kind of related, but not really. But could you comment on Tina Peters, who's been locked up in behind bars from Colorado defending the election? They put out a truth a couple days ago, right?
We have a wonderful woman who was an election official, and she saw cheating in Colorado, and she viewed it as horrible, and she said, "What's going on here?" And she went to the machine, and she tried to open to find out whether or not it was cheating, and they went to her, and they said, "Did you touch this machine?" "Yes." And they arrested her. They arrested her instead of the people that did the cheating. It's a state charge, so it's hard to do anything with, but we're gonna do something. What they did in Colorado, look, Colorado just went to all mail-in voting. That means they cheat. That's why they lost, that's one of the reasons, but that's a big reason why they just lost the whole Space Command situation that is going to Alabama. But when you have mail-in voting, you have nothing but cheating. But this woman is
Wait, that's why we're moving
a
it to
real
Alabama?
And they put her in jail.
Did he
for a
just say the
long
quiet
time.
part out loud?
72 years old, 73 years old.
The reason
And she wanted
we're
to
moving
find out.
Spacecom
She
from
didn't do
Colorado
anything.
to
She touched
Alabama
the machine.
because
She
they
looked at
cheat
the
during
machine. She's
elections?
trying to find out what was going on. And they went and arrested her for doing that. And it was supposed to be the other way around. I'm glad you brought that up. They should let her go. Let her out. Thank you. Yeah, please.
It's talking about Mr. President, but what about your team's strategy has made them so effective getting a record amount of these hostages? Many of whom have been forgotten about.
I think they respect us. I think they respect us. They know we're not going to pay. Adam is a great negotiator. Steve Witkoff is a great negotiator. Seb is a great negotiator. They're all smart people. They're a little bit natural negotiators. Some people aren't good negotiators. Nothing you can do about it.
And they're afraid of you, sir.
He is
Yeah, well,
definitely
maybe
covering his
I hope
hands.
so, or whatever.
We have the best.
I'd like to say respect, but whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I actually say whatever it takes. But we've gotten a lot of people out.
What do you guys
and
make of
we'll
the hand thing?
We don't have too many in. How many are you working on right now?
There's not a lot.
Tell me in the chat, you worried
We got
about his
most of
hand
our
or not
people
really?
out. We got them mostly back.
Mr. President, do you have an update on the negotiations to release the rest of the hostages in Gaza?
We're in very deep negotiation with Hamas. We said, let them all out right now, let them all out. And much better things will happen for them. But if you don't let them all out, it's going to be a tough situation. It's going to be nasty.
Going
That's
to
my
be.
opinion. Israel's choice, but that's my opinion. You
It's
gotta let 'em
going
out.
to be.
You got 20 plus you have about 38 dead people. Young, beautiful, dead people. And I'll tell you, the parents want
Young,
them
beautiful,
every bit
dead
as much,
people.
almost more, than as if their son or daughter were alive. But you have many dead people that are coming out as part of the deal. It's 20 people, but I think of the 20, there could be some that have recently died, is what I'm hearing. I hope that's wrong. But you have over 30 bodies in this negotiation. Can you believe? I mean, we negotiate for people that are living.
April
We know
says that
at
getting
least
rid of
30
mail-in
people are
voting
dead.
makes it difficult for
And we're
her as a
negotiating
traveling
to get
nurse
them out.
and her
The parents
son
want them back
as
so
a
badly.
deployed military
So
man.
badly, as if they were
Difficult
alive.
to vote.
Every bit as much. It's really pretty amazing. It's very sad. I'm in the middle of it. And I put out the other
Someone
day, I
says
said,
it's just an old
we
people
want all
bruise.
20. We don't want
He's
to-
really covering it.
I was
He
the
took
one
his hand off
with
the
myself
desk
and my people,
and then put
Steve
it back
Witkoff,
on without
Jared Kushner
changing.
was great on this. But they got a lot of people out. We got almost all of them out. They're down to 20.
Other people
But,
just saying, no, not really
we have,
worried.
like a tremendous number out. But I always said when you get down to the final
Elderly
10 or
skin
20, you're
bruise.
not going to get them out unless you're going to do a lot. And doing a lot means capitulation. That's no good either. It's a very tough situation. But I put out the other day, let them all out. Every single one. No more twos and ones. We'll give you one this week, and in 2 months we'll give you two more. And there's negotiation going on right now. Okay.
And real quick, what is the biggest challenge negotiating with Hamas right now? 10 to 20, what do they want to let them free?
Well, they're asking for some things that are fine. Look, you have to understand, you have to remember October 7th. You know, people forget October 7th. It's not an easy thing to forget, right? But people forget, or they maybe purposely forget October 7th.
No one has forgotten
So,
October 7th.
You know, you have to put that into the equation very strongly. It's amazing. Some people even deny it. They deny it. They're crazy. But
Talking about the Israel-Hamas
I've seen
negotiations
tape
now.
that's as violent as anything that you can imagine. Many of you have seen those same tapes. So you have to put that into the equation too. So it's not an easy situation. It's a tough one. But there are 20 people, maybe a little less, but there are 20 people that we want out. We want the bodies of these parents. They are. I've never seen anything like it. The level of love that they have, they want their children back. And you know, I see demonstrations, big demonstrations in Israel about the hostages, not about the war, about the hostages, which puts Israel in a tough position because, you know, it's tough to prosecute a war when you have people they want the 20 people back. They just want them back very badly.
It's tough to
And
kill
everything.
everybody when you're trying to get
So,
hostages
Thank
back.
you very much. We're going to talk now about the G20. I figured we could wrap 2 or 3 up. The last time I took a day off, everybody said bad things happened to me. You know, that's it. I took 1 day off. I didn't take it off. I was working. In fact, I was here. But I didn't do a news conference, and they said bad things happened to the president.
There was a death conspiracy last weekend.
If you look, Biden, he had a.
Did you think Trump was dead last weekend?
A year, right?
Tell me in the chat.
And I never saw any.
I didn't report it, so you shouldn't have. But
and when he had one, they'd ask him, "What flavor ice cream do you like?" He'd say vanilla. How many times have they asked him that question? It's what's your favorite ice cream, sir?
ChatGPT how many times?
Okay, that's enough. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. They don't have to go through this, but we all have a good time. I only do it for one reason. I think it's good for the country. And we are very transparent. There's never been transparency like we have. There's nothing to hide. So thank you very much on this, Will. Great job. Appreciate it. So we're going to talk about Florida, the great state of Florida now, because it's going to be a very exciting thing to host the G20. And as we celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary next year, the United States will have the honor of hosting exactly that, the G20 summit right here in America for the first time in nearly 20 years. This afternoon, I'm thrilled to announce that the 2026 G20 conference, which will be...
I would argue that Biden talked about ice cream less than Trump talks about Biden talking about ice cream.
List them specifically, Jennifer, you're okay? Okay, but will be held in one of our country's greatest cities, beautiful Miami, Florida, where we have the mayor with us, Mayor Suarez. And I want to thank Francis for being here. I thought he might be in this office. You know, he almost got there. There's a couple of us. Right? A couple of us. It's not as easy as they think. Right? It's not that easy. But he's an amazing guy, very popular in Florida. The agenda for next year's summit is being organized by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who is right here. Hi, Scott. I saw him standing over there, nice, tall, good-looking guy, but he moved very quickly. Carolyn, you did a good job.
We've changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Now we're talking about the G20.
How do you compare it with the last administration's person? No? You don't want to get into that. Yeah, I think we're very happy with Caroline. But Scott Bessent is talking about a good job. He's done a fantastic job, and we're very proud of him. He's very much involved with the G20. And the NEC director, Kevin Hassett, who's truly a talented guy. And he's certainly being thought of to go to a different position, and we'll find out about that pretty soon. I don't know, would you like to be there? I won't ask you that question. I think, who wouldn't want? I think it's the greatest position in the world. You know, you come out, you make a speech, and then you go away for 30 days or 40 days, and you come out, make another speech, the market goes up or down, depending on what you want to say.
Thanks,
I've never seen an easier position than that. Unfortunately, you need good instincts, so we have somebody in there now that doesn't have them. We call them too late. But it will focus on unleashing economic prosperity by eliminating the burdensome regulations, unlocking affordable energy, and pioneering new technologies. And it's going to be very important. The United States is already leading by example, and America is the hottest country anywhere on earth. We have more being built under construction now than they think anybody that they've ever seen. I mean, literally, some of these places are just really unbelievable what they're building, the size. You know, if you spent $50 million on a shopping center someplace, it's a big building, pretty big building. But when you spend $50 billion on essentially a building, a building's going up for $50 billion. They're going to be building their own electricity, and many of them have been given permits already to go, and they're starting construction.
He's talking about AI developers. He's talking about crypto firms.
Very early in the administration, we let them do that. You know, we have a grid that's obviously an old grid. It's been around for a long time. You could never handle the kind of numbers that you're talking about in terms of electricity, and we're letting them build their own plants. They build their own plants with their structures. So they build their structure, they build their buildings, and they build an electric producing plant with it, like Con Edison in New York that I grew up with, and like others that make electricity. They make it for New York. These plants will make it for their building, for AI. Then you have a lot of the car plants going up. Most of them won't need that kind of electricity, but they have the right to do
Someone's
that
asking
also.
what the
So we're
G20
allowing,
is for. It's just a
companies to build
meeting
electric
of
plants. They become
20 different countries.
Essentially, Scott, I guess they become utilities, right? If you think about it. And it's very exciting. We're going to end up with more electricity than China. And it's going to be built at no cost to us. And I'm telling them, build more than you need and you'll sell it back into the grid. So they'll be able to sell it back into the grid on top of everything else.
Someone says they
at
can't
no
afford
cost
to
the
build
American
because of the
taxpayer. It's
tariffs.
very
They're in
exciting.
construction.
And frankly, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be leading with AI. We wouldn't be probably even doing any AI. It would be 20 years to get an approval. So they're building massive amounts of electricity as we speak. We've eliminated $5 trillion worth of federal regulations, another big thing since I took office. And if you remember the first term, we took out more regulation than any other president in history times. You could add the top 4 and they wouldn't come anywhere close to what we were. That's one of the reasons we had such the most successful 4 years of any president economically. And this is blowing it away. I think this will blow it away when these plants start to even getting close to opening. I think you're going to see numbers that we've not seen before. And we've increased oil production by more than 300 barrels a day.
You guys excited
It's
to
a
work
lot.
in the factories?
Blue-collar wages are rising at the fastest rate in 60 years, and trillions of dollars of investment is pouring into the USA. It's going to be over $17 trillion very shortly, and nobody ever thought a thing like that was possible. What made it possible were, number one, they were happy with November 5th. They were happy with the election. And number two, the tariffs are bringing countries in. I mean, it's so vital to our country. It's before the courts now, and I hope we're going to do very well. We had 4 great opinions just come out, as you know, from judges. In a couple of cases, there were Obama-appointed judges that felt they had to do what was right for the country. So I respect that greatly. I respect them for doing it. But we have very strong
It's
opinions,
almost like
and it'll end up going to the
they
Supreme
can do
Court.
their job, even
And,
though they're Democrats.
It's just vital for the country. Vital, absolutely. We're at a level that we've never thought we'd be at, and it's because of the tariffs. Countries are pouring into our country because of you avoid tariffs if you build here. If you don't build here, you pay a lot of money. But if you build here,
Yeah,
so what
things have
people
changed.
are doing is they're coming
Tell
in, they're
everyone.
bringing in.
Tell all
No
your friends to
different
watch
than
the
what
fucking
other
news.
countries have done to us. But we have a big advantage over other countries. We have a market that we built up during our 4 years. That was amazing. We took a commanding lead during that 4-year period. So it's been
Thank
it's a very
you,
exciting
Arigato,
thing, but
Chad.
I look forward to
There's a
showing
little-
our incredible success to the world when we
There's an animation that
visit
shows a dap.
Miami next year, and I'd like to ask Mayor Suarez, truly a highly respected gentleman who's loved in his city, and we're gonna do a great job. We're gonna work together and do a fantastic job. Mayor, would you say a few words, please?
Of course, thank you, Mr. President. It's a tremendous honor to be with you here today in the Oval Office to make this historic announcement, just looking at the sign, which is so beautiful.
Good job.
Yeah, it's a great job. As you know, Mr. President, you were elected by double digits. You were the first Republican president over 30 years to win Miami-Dade County. And you did it because you followed through on your promises. And in Miami, what we're doing is we are following through on those promises as well. We've kept taxes low, we've kept people safe, we've leaned into innovation, we've grown 150% in the last 10 years.
Miami governor is
We've
here.
created one of the most intriguing ecosystems in the world. And this decision is not only generationally important
We
for
made
the
a
city,
G20
but it
summit.
puts the city on the map as one of the truly great global cities. So on behalf of all of the workers of Miami, those that work in the hospitality industry, I know you own many hospitality assets.
Thank
and
you,
properties,
Elise.
all of the small business owners who are going to benefit
Allie's
economically from having
21.
the G20 in Miami.
Tremendous benefit. It's gonna bring in.
Thank you for the
millions and
support,
millions
guys.
of
Really,
We just say
I'm not kidding when I
thank you
say it
for
keeps the
believing
show
in us.
going.
We thank you
It
for
does.
highlighting
Every little
our
bit
city
helps.
In a time when we have the lowest homeless rate in 11 years, we're on the precipice of having the lowest homicide rate in history, and with the lowest taxes. So we're following your America First agenda, and we're creating success in Miami's the greatest city in the world. I believe.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll see you down there. We'll see you down there before then, but we'll see you down there. Scott, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, sir. So we're excited to have the G20, and what's important about the G20, President Trump's America First initiative does not mean America alone. It means America leads. So we will be.
Arigato says that Miami Hispanics think this mayor is a sellout.
Miami next year to showcase the beginning of President Trump's
Anybody else from
second term
Miami
will
in
be
my chat?
A year and a half into it, we will have done peace deals, tax deals, trade deals.
We're listening to
We've
the
made
governor
US
talk right now.
The best place to come start
Well,
a business.
I guess he's done
have
now.
Tax certainty, energy certainty, and regulatory certainty, and it's going to be an exciting event. And the U.S., just as the president was saying earlier about the Defense Department of War, the U.S. is back on the international stage as a leader. We have whittled down the G20 back to basics. We are making it work for the American people better than ever.
Damn, someone said he'll probably be deported next year.
The G20
That's
has become
fucked up.
basically the G100 this past year. So it will be a concentrated group in Miami, seeing the best America has to offer with American leadership, thanks to President Trump.
Suddenly my
Thank you very
Instagram
much.
live blew up
Great
with
job,
people talking
great
about
job
Gaza.
you're doing. Kevin, would you
Did
like
something
to say
happen?
a few
Sure.
words?
Mr. President, I think
I mean,
this
I know something's
important
happening,
meeting
but-
where the world leaders will come to the great city of Miami is going to be viewed as one of the most important meetings in global history, because what's going to happen is the golden age is going to be documented
No.
so well in the data.
If you were wondering,
summer
no.
that you're
There
gonna
is
have
not
one
any-
of the
there are
best
no new
speeches
developments.
written for you that you've ever seen, because we're just going to be talking about the accomplishments of the next year.
I think so. A lot of these
What's up, everybody?
plants
Oh,
are gonna
someone's
be
here from
open by then,
Venezuela.
and a lot of jobs are
Hispanics hate
coming
Trump
in,
here, someone
I think we've
said.
never seen before. It's going to be good. Monica, would you like to
Thanks
say
for the
something?
stars, April.
President, we're so looking forward to having the United States
You're
of
awesome.
America
That
host the
helps a
G20
lot.
in Miami in
Truly.
December of next year. And we're also looking forward to having this as a showcase of American strength, vision, innovation, and power under your bold leadership, Mr. President. It is going to be the G20 in the Trumpian golden age.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions on the G20? G20.
You just said a moment ago that you were very complimentary of Kevin's work, and I was just wondering if future.
Someone asked, is Kennedy stepping
Kevin?
down? He hasn't
Kevin, I
yet.
am very complimentary. I think he's fantastic.
And for the Fed, he's your man.
Thanks,
I
witty
didn't say
banter.
that. I said he's fantastic, but no. I sort of know who I'm going to pick, but no, I didn't say anybody in particular. But Kevin is certainly one of the three. They say four, but probably three. That he's a highly respected person. He's great. He's great. He believes in low interest rates, and we all do. But sometimes you have to raise them to stop inflation. We had the worst inflation, I guess, essentially that we've ever had in the Biden administration.
Because
And
of
it really
COVID.
hurt people. You know, costs are way down. Our energy costs are way down. And you know, when energy comes down, everything comes down. And we brought down the price of groceries and specifically the price of eggs. You remember that first week when you were screaming about eggs? I said,
He keeps talking about egg prices going down, but my eggs are still at an all-time high.
But we got the cost
Tell
of
me if
eggs
you're-
down to
if any of
really
you-
low numbers. So
First tell me if you
we
buy
brought
eggs
costs down
and
for
eat
people.
eggs, and then tell
You
me,
know, it's something I said.
are the prices
the
down?
Democrats have this false narrative. They say, "Oh, costs went up." They just say things that it's just like incredible.
I don't-
If you look at energy, I think you're going to be at $2.
Also tell me if you're a Republican. If you are a Republican
$4, $5,
and you're
under
paying the
Democrats.
same amount of money
It's
for
a huge,
eggs
it's like a massive tax cut.
as you
And
were a
speaking
year
of tax
ago, then
cuts,
tell
we gave you
me.
the largest tax cut in history in the bill that we just approved.
Or is it only Democrats
The
that
largest
say that
tax
the
cut in
price of eggs
history.
are still
And there'll be
high?
no tax on tips, no tax on Social
Thank you,
Security,
April.
no tax
It
on
really means a
overtime.
lot, seriously.
One of the big things you get is you buy a car and you borrow money to buy the car, you're allowed to deduct your interest, which, Scott, has never happened before. You know, rich people like to talk about deductions. Middle income, they never gave them deductions.
The
I got
prices
them.
are still high
One of
up
the
on my
best
neck, bro.
deductions, an interest deduction. So it's great. Jennifer, please.
Yeah, a couple questions on the G20, sir. Is there any update on your plans to attend this year's G20? And then are you saying for next
I
year?
won't be going this year. It's in South Africa. I won't
Someone
be going.
says they bought a chicken.
JD will be going, great vice president, and he looks forward to it. But no, I won't be going to that.
And then I would guess for 2026.
Trump is not going to
are you saying
G20
it will
because
just
it's
be
in
exclusively
Africa.
The 19 countries, the 2 blocks, there won't be any.
No, we're going to invite other countries as observers. They call them observers, but they'll have something to say. But we're going to invite Poland. Already, I've issued them an invitation. They're great. They were just here, as you know. Great leader, great new leader. One of the big surprises. I was so happy. I endorsed him actually, and he won. And he's going to be a great leader of Poland. But I've invited Poland already.
Boy, the chat on Instagram is wild. You guys should come over to YouTube, where you can see what's going on. YouTube.com. I pinned it. YouTube.com/Kellerman Comedy. Comedy with a
Why
K.
rebrand from One Big Beautiful Bill?
Oh, I just saved words. I said the bill. It's one big. I actually call it the great. I actually call it the great big beautiful bill. But it's a lot of words.
Is that how you want
You know.
Republicans to kind of talk about it? When they
I just want them to say what's in it. It's an incredible bill for the middle class, for the working person. You know, we are a party of the working. It used to be the opposite. The Democrats were for the working people, and the Republicans were supposedly for the rich. The Republican Party's taken in millions of people, and the Democrats have lost millions of people.
That's true.
They've gone
That's true.
crazy.
Recent polls show that Democrats have lost a lot of
What's
fans.
happened to them, I don't know. They
A lot of people
they
are
suffer
registering
major
as
Trump derangement
non-Democrats.
syndrome.
They haven't all gone
It's
to
turned out
Republican,
be
though.
actually a disease,
The same number of
but it's
people
a
is
disease
not
of weak people,
now
stupid people,
Republican.
because all we do is we cut taxes, we create great policy. Their policy is so terrible. They refuse to acknowledge, as an example,
I don't know,
see today,
IBS.
it's a big debate again. The women, they don't want men playing in their sports. They don't want it. The Democrats want men to play in women's sports. I saw the great governor, we have Governor Youngkin, talking about it today, that the woman who's running against our Republican candidate, who's excellent, is like so much into the, men being able to use women's bathrooms. Okay, what's that all about? Men playing in women's
What's that all
sports.
about, guys?
Once
He doesn't
open
even
borders,
look. Here's the
again,
thing.
once they
I
want
find this a
actually
little
after what we've
disingenuous
gone
because it's
through
like,
with
dude,
millions, I
like
think 25
certainly
million people
you,
came in from prison,
even if you don't
from-
agree,
from mental institutions.
do you
drug
understand
dealers,
what a trans
drug
person
addicts.
is?
They're pouring
I understand you
into
don't
it.
agree
poured
that
in.
they
Now
should
we
be
have
allowed to
none coming
change
in.
their
We have-
sex and
the border's
whatever,
been
or
sealed
their gender, but
for a long time, actually, almost since I got into office. Remember when the Democrats said we need legislation? I didn't have any legislation. I said close the borders. And now the borders for the last 4 months, not one person has been allowed to come into this country illegally, not one. Done by people that would normally like to see you look bad. Those are the numbers. So it's been an amazing job. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, this is going to be a major event and a major meeting for South Florida for you, for Mayor Suarez. I know this is not until next year in Miami, but do preparations begin today? And if so, what is being done?
They've already begun. We will first have to deconflict our Basel with the dates.
so Miami's
we've already
gonna
started
hold
doing
the
that.
G20 meeting
thanks to the
next year.
president.
He started a long time ago, actually. If you knew him, he was working on this long before this press conference.
Yes, sir.
It's in good shape. Going to be great.
Mr. President, we learned this morning that we've lost 78,000 manufacturing jobs this year. How do you explain?
Well, one thing we have is, we have the interest rates are too high. That was, a matter of the Fed. But the other thing is, so many different elements aren't included yet. And one of the things we've learned, and we learned that the hard way, watching over the last
Said
few months, are the
manufacturing jobs
corrections
have dropped
that people
dramatically.
have been making. They'll say you're losing jobs, and then they say, by the way, we have a correction a month later of 100,000 jobs are missing. They actually had a correction once of 850,000 jobs. But I'll let Kevin just.
He
speak
said
about
that was a
one
lie,
because I heard him
though,
speaking
or
about it
that
this morning. I thought
it
he
was
did
done
very
on
well.
purpose.
Thank you very much, sir. Well,
So
I
it's a
think
little
that
confusing
if
for
you
him to
look
say
at
that
indicators,
that
there's
sort
capital
of
spending boom,
slippage
industrial
just
production at
happens.
an all-time high.
He fired that
The
person.
Atlanta Fed says GDP now
He
is
fired the person who told him
3%.
what he just said.
And so all the indicators are saying that things are really strong. And what we've also seen is that Goldman Sachs put out a study yesterday that said that the August number tends to be really messed up because of seasonal adjustment things, and they tend to be revised way up. And so I think if they were revised up, which has happened on average over the last 50 years by about 60,000, then everything else would make sense. But right now we're puzzled about the BLS numbers and looking forward for new leadership there to make it so that the numbers are more reliable.
And again, we're building, they've started building all of these factories and plants, including car factories. Car factories are coming back.
I can't find
We've
what he's
lost
talking about.
More than 50% of our car production over the years. And I think we're going to get all of it back. It's coming back in really rapidly.
There we go. People came
Really,
over to
we're
YouTube
building
for a
lot of
minute.
Car plants.
That's what I'm
Indiana,
talking
places
about.
that you don't think of it so much are taking, but also Detroit, lots of places it's coming in where I think we're going to get everything. We've lost it over a period of 40 years. And I think we're going to get it all back in a very short period of time. And big ones, big plants, incredible plants that were never going to come back. Without the tariffs, they wouldn't have come back.
Dominic
And I
says
think
it's
without
better
the
on
election
YouTube.
of November
Yeah,
2nd,
yeah, I've been trying to tell you.
The election was very
I've been
important.
trying to
Also,
tell you
yeah.
to come watch on YouTube.
Mayor Adams of New York has announced that he's staying in the mayoral race there. Can you react to that, but also tell us?
No, I mean, he has to do what he wants to do. No, I mean, he's free to do what he wants. It would seem to me, and everybody in this room, including you, that the only way you're going to beat the communists, because you have a communist running, which is fine. I'll have to deal with a communist in New York City. I never thought that was going to happen. This is something I didn't think was going to happen, Scott. You're going to have to explain this one, because we're going to have a communist mayor. It would seem to me that if he stays in, if you have more than one candidate running against him, it can't be one. If you have
Do we think Mamdani is a
one candidate,
communist?
if he's the right candidate, I would
Tell me in the
say
chat if
that
Mamdani's a
Cuomo
communist.
might have a chance of winning if it was a one-on-one.
Now I'm
If
confused.
it's
There's
not
so many
one-on-one,
people
it's
watching
gonna
on
be a hard
YouTube.
race.
Are you
And we'll get
watching
used to a
on
communist,
Instagram
he's gonna have
and
to go through
YouTube?
the White
Tell
House
me.
and get approvals for everything, and we're going to make sure that New York is not hurt. We want to make sure that New York is cherished
Thanks,
and taken
Dominique.
care of. And so I didn't know he was running or not running.
But you didn't offer him an ambassador.
No, I didn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. It's nothing wrong with doing it, but I didn't do that.
You asked for the G20, we understand that it'll be held in Doral.
Yes, it's going to be a Doral, yeah.
You considered that with the G7 last time you decided.
Oh, everybody just got off work.
Well, I think that
They're
everybody
joining the
wants it there
live.
because it's right next to the airport. It's the best location. It's beautiful, beautiful everything. They actually requested that it be there because location is the best, and we will not make any money on it. You know, we're doing a deal where it's not going to be money. There's no money in it. I just want it to go well, and it's going to be each country will have its own building. I think it'll be really a beautiful thing, and Doral's been very, very successful. One of the most successful properties in the country. And, you know, frankly, it's the problem is in December, that's the biggest month in Florida. So, you know, using it for, you can't get a room in Florida in December, January, etc., that area.
Yeah, someone
And
says it's
that's
a
the
wild
time we're
Friday
talking
night
about.
over
So, from that standpoint, it's not good, but we want to make sure it's good. I think Doral would be the best location. And again, they'll have their own buildings, so it'll be incredible for them. And being like 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes from the airport, and it's a big airport, international, all of the planes will be able to land, go right into their quarters. So I think it'll work out very well.
Earlier on your Fed answer, sir, you said that you're looking at maybe three candidates. Or
Three candidates.
Should we interpret that you like Secretary Vessel in his current role?
Well, I like him too, but I had him as a fourth. I know I had four. You know, you were talking about four, and now I'm talking about three. He told me I'm not leaving. He wants to be doing, and if he was leaving,
Never change my
he would
intro.
certainly be,
Thanks,
one of the
Boo.
people I'd wanted. But I asked him specifically. I could ask him right now. Would you rather stay where you are as treasurer, or would you rather go to the?
Sir, I'm the only person on the planet who does not want the job.
Okay.
I feel like they're just kind of joking around now. Are we still answering
I wouldn't
questions?
want to really take him because he is doing a great job.
The topic was the G20
It's
meeting.
I
But
am
now,
looking at Kevin also, and I'm looking at, yeah, I would say you could say those are the top three. Good job.
where are you all from? Hold on. Tell me in the chat where you are watching from right now. Are you all in the United States?
The best one-on-one candidate against him.
Well, I think if I'm only going by the polls. It's not an endorsement or anything. It just seems that he's second. And what you do to win is you take the guy who's second and you hopefully add one and two. But maybe if the one isn't getting out, then he's not getting out, and that's okay. I think the mayor's a very nice person. I helped him. He was got
Okay,
caught
so
up
mostly
in a scam
United
by
States.
the Biden administration, what they did. So I helped him out a little bit.
All
but,
over, though.
I
All
don't
over the
understand why
US.
he doesn't do it. I do think this. I think if you have more than one candidate, we've got ourselves a communist mayor in New York. And I don't like communist mayors. I don't like them. Yeah.
I don't like communist mayors. Also, while you're telling me where you're watching from, also tell me if you like communist mayors. Someone's watching from Ireland on Instagram. It
Well,
seems
I
like my
heard,
YouTube.
You know, we were in a very downward path.
Someone's
with
from
Biden,
Germany.
and I
Okay.
heard that the most we could do was 1% GDP.
Portugal.
And now I'm
Hey
hearing
now,
3.2%
love that.
and 3.5%.
Okay,
and
so we're outside a little bit.
and our big
Barbados.
year won't be really next year. I think it'll be the year after, because when these plants start opening up, it takes a period of time to build them. We're going to have tremendous job growth. It's unprecedented. We have unprecedented in history. There's never been anything like it, because we're going to have more than 17 trillion.
People are watching on Instagram
dollars
and on YouTube.
There's never been anything like that. If we did $1 trillion in 1 year, and this is 6 months, 7 months, because it really we really focused on it over the last 6 months. But we're going to be doing. Nobody's ever seen numbers like this. When this stuff starts opening up, our country's
so
being
most
rebuilt.
of you guys are in
By
the
the way,
US,
Washington D.C. is being rebuilt. You know, in addition to the fact that we have a safe city now, and our national
A lot of
guard is
Texans in
fantastic,
here.
and worked with the mayor, worked with everybody. We're
Howdy.
also doing a refurbishing of Washington. We're going to redo some of the roads, the surfaces. We're going to redo the medians. We're going to take the broken tiles off the tunnels and put brand new tiles up, and we're going to.
They're going to do the things that taxes are supposed to always be doing.
World-class golf courses, and not necessarily people that work for me, because I don't care about that. I just want to. I'm very good at grass. You know, grass has a life, just like you have a life, right? It has a life. Well, this
He's
grass
good
has
at
been up
grass?
longer than it's like 4 lives. Okay, that's why
Grass?
there's a lot of areas where there's just no grass.
Someone's watching from Kenya.
We're going to regrass all of the parks. We're going to.
Thank you, Arigato.
In a year from now,
Arigato,
you
Chad.
won't even recognize it. Graffiti's gone. The tents are gone. The medians falling into the roads are gone. The potholes will be gone. The marble's going to be polished and beautiful. It's all going to be beautiful. We're working with Clark Construction, who's one of the, well, definitely the biggest here, one of the biggest in the country, and they've been great. And we're going to do about a 10-mile radius from the White House, from the Capitol, looking sort of at both of them, go right in the middle of both of them, and start drawing circles, and everything is going to be spit-shine. You know, when the head of Poland came here last week, and when
Sorry
other
for the-
leaders came here, they
for
came,
the
a lot
noise
of them
there.
have been here over the last 8 months. I said, what do you think?
Someone says,
And
is he a
they said that we're
president?
low
President or a
surprised.
fucking interior designer? Yeah. He's doing a lot of interior design, guys. He's got
Now it's
ballrooms
much
he's
better.
putting
We've got
up.
it
He's
much
putting
better.
gold on
We
the
have to do some
ceilings.
construction things. I mean,
Supposedly
your
all with his
medians
own
are all
money,
broken
for some
and
reason.
rotted and rusty and disgusting. And they're all gonna be changed. You're gonna have a very different look. You're gonna have the look of prosperity, not the look of poverty. But the big thing right now, initially, is
Anybody watching from
we have
DC?
no crime in
Is anybody in
Washington.
Washington,
We literally
DC?
have no crime.
Tell us.
They said it's down.
Tell the
87%.
chat
It's
how you're
not
feeling
down
about things
87.
that are going
It's
on there.
down like 100%. We have almost no crime. People are going to restaurants that wouldn't have even thought about it. And I know families that have gone 4, 5, 6 times to restaurants over the last few weeks. And you people are in the same category. I mean, yes?
I agree on that.
Thank you. It's a whole different place, right? No, that's very nice. And you're so tough usually. I like her now, right? no, because she was truthful. Is that a correct statement, Brian?
Yes, sir, it is.
I heard you were actually mugged. You're a big, strong guy. I
I
heard.
can't do anything when he has the guns.
No, you can't. You know, you say, thank you very much, right?
Yeah, follow up with the
I feel like he points out a different person every day that's been mugged in Washington, D.C. I haven't been to Washington, D.C. in a while. Are people just getting mugged literally left and right every day?
for nuclear arms. It's kind of morphed into more of a anti-American and sometimes anti-Trump at many times.
Where is this blue tent?
Right in front of the White House on the North Lawn, on the other side of the Black Gate in Lafayette.
I haven't known this.
All of us in here walk right by it every day. It is an eyesore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well,
Take it down. Take it down today, right now. Nobody told me that. So you're saying there's a blue tent?
It's been there for 30 plus years. It was originally a peace tent, but it's kind of morphed into something.
It was originally a
radical
peace
left.
tent.
Is it in the ellipse? Where is it?
No, it's in the.
Thank you,
Lafayette
Crumbopulous
Park, take it
Kyle,
down.
for the $3. Every little bit helps, guys. Seriously, I know it just seems like $2, $3, but it adds up to a lot. It really is the only thing keeping the channel going is you guys. I don't do a lot of partnerships, if you noticed.
We're going to look into it right now. We have removed over 50 tent sites, not 50 tents, hundreds and hundreds, maybe 1,000. I think it's over 1,000 tents, but 50 sites. So I'm a little surprised to hear that, but we're going to look into it right now. Lafayette.
On the National Guard,
Yes.
DC Mayor has, of course, gotten on board with the cleanup of DC, but DC Attorney General has said that he plans to be suing you for
Yeah.
your criminal.
Can you imagine, we have an attorney general who's not related at all to the mayor, by the way. You know, it's a totally separate department. We've got so many separate departments. You have the
You are
district
welcome, Jay
attorney has
Mason.
nothing
Thank
to
you
do
for the
with
kind
mayor. The
words.
whole thing is crazy. But how about this? We just set a record on low crime in Washington, D.C., and we have a man suing us to let us go back to high crime. We're going to have to be here for a little while to make this really work long term after we're gone. And so we're going to meet that head on, and I suspect we'll be very successful. And I can always declare a national emergency because this was a national emergency. But right now we have the safest city. We have now one of the safe cities in the country. We had almost the worst. I mean, a city that was as bad as some of the horror shows that you've heard about for years. And we're going to fix some of those horror shows too. Okay?
There's a Google ruling today you posted on Truth Social about the Europeans buying Google.
So Google is a great company. Yeah, Google is a great company, American company. Apple is a great American company, and so many others. And the European Union, I don't know why they do it, but they have been finding them numbers that have been astronomical.
Let's look at why
More
they've been
so
doing it.
Before I got here, but Apple paid $17 billion a fine in the last year. Apple, $17 billion on a case that a lot of people think they weren't guilty of. And no, I'm going to be speaking to the European Union about it's not fair. Google just got fined $3.5 billion, and they've already paid $13 billion. They're up to $16.5 billion. And people say there was nothing wrong with what they did. It's almost a source of income to run Europe. It's become a source of income. And many other companies too, mostly tech companies, but we can't let that happen.
What are you seeking from Europeans and by when?
No, I can just say you can't do that. I mean, you know, they respect us now. They didn't respect us a year ago.
I don't know. These
The
fines
European Union
seem
respects
kind
us.
of.
Look, they're paying us $950 billion, right? They got to respect us. They were very disrespectful of our country. I have great respect for Ursula. I've gotten to know her very well. And I just don't think it's fair that they're taxing, and really it's almost become like a tax. It's almost,
De
become so
Wolfenstein.
regular.
This is definitely a
And
record
I've
for my
gone to
life.
lawyers and I've asked them, what do you think? They said they didn't do anything wrong.
Make sure that you
Can't do that.
are
It's
liking
not
and
fair.
subscribing,
It's
guys, since
interesting.
you're all
I don't
here
hear
today.
that about China, and I don't hear that about other places. I hear it about the European Union. We were talking about it last night. I think we had a gathering. That was the highest IQ group of people I think any room has ever had.
Yeah, he
last
met with
night.
all the top leaders of the
That
tech
was about
world
as high as you
yesterday.
can have. All the tech geniuses were there. They love their computers. They would tell me more about chips that I want to know.
Did this come up last night?
Yeah, I did.
There are 12,000 people watching on YouTube. Join
Join
them on YouTube.
They were taxed by the European Union. It's interesting. They weren't complaining about, in that regard, China. They weren't complaining about other places.
Weren't complaining
It's the
about
European
China.
Union. And they have. Apple was, again, forced to pay $17 billion last year. So I think we're going to change that around. It's just not fair. We don't want that to happen to our companies. And you know, if somebody does that, we should be doing it to them. They've got to pay, let them pay us. But you just can't do that to our companies. Yes.
Was Elon Musk invited to the dinner last night? I wanted to go back to the G20.
It seems like he's being very careful about covering his hands.
City to reconsider the G20. Was this a hard decision, or did Miami just stand out to you?
It wasn't a hard, really. I mean, look, it's got the weather. We're in December, so it's, you know, cold in some places, and that's beautiful too. Cold weather's nice. It's all nice, you know, depending on the city.
Cold weather's
But
nice.
No, Miami really wanted it. The mayor really wanted it. The people down there really wanted it. You might just address that for a second, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, as I said, I mean, a conference of this kind does two things. Number one is it puts us on a global map with the great global cities, and I think that's something that we've been trying to achieve.
Anybody else
for a
from
generation.
Miami here? This is
And
your
number
mayor.
two, it's a tremendous boom for your economy. I mean, as the president knows, he has multiple hospitality assets. And the working people of Miami, the small business owners, are going to benefit tremendously from the economic impact of a conference like this in our city.
Thank you, Arigato,
it's an image
Chad,
thing,
or should I
but it's
say
also benefiting
Arigato.
working people in our community.
Do you think Xi and Putin will attend the G20 there?
That's an interesting question.
Thank you, IBS and
Love
Chill,
them to if
which
they
is a
want to.
hilarious
As
screen name.
Observers.
Give me your
Thank you,
best
observers.
Donald
I'm
Trump
not sure they
impression
want to be
saying
an observer.
China, please.
If they
I gotta
want
be
to
honest, I'm not
be
great at
observers.
impressions, but he kind of says it like China. Terrible, I know, and I'm sorry you paid $2
Well, I think we
for
have to
that.
be
But
very careful. Look, you have some
impressions aren't really my
vaccines that are
thing.
so amazing. The polio vaccine, I happen to think, is amazing.
China.
A lot of people think that COVID is amazing. There are many people that
People think
believe
COVID is
strongly in
amazing?
that, but you have some vaccines that are so
Oh, the COVID vaccine.
incredible. And I think you have to be very careful when you say that.
I feel like his
some
base
people
typically
don't have to
doesn't
be
think that the COVID
vaccinated.
vaccine
It's a
is
very-
that great.
It's a very tough position. So I'd give you an answer. I'll give you a feeling. But just initially, I heard about it yesterday, and it's a tough stance. Look, you have vaccines that work. They just pure and simple work. They're not controversial at all. And I think those vaccines should be used. Otherwise, some people are going to catch it, and they endanger other people. And when you don't,
So
have
he does
controversy
understand
at
how
all,
vaccines work.
I think people should take it. Okay.
One more follow-up on your comments on the.
You heard it here first. Trump says take the vaccine.
Are you discussing, do you want?
Just shut up and take the vaccine. They work.
Eliminate inflation.
His words, not mine.
When
Well,
you say
not the
the
shut up part.
upcoming
I
tax
added
bill,
that.
Because when you have an upcoming, we just passed the biggest tax
He
cut in
needs
the
to have a
history of our
chat with
country, so there's
RFK.
nothing upcoming. There's something that we just passed.
RFK
So
got
we
roasted by
passed
Congress
the biggest tax
yesterday.
cut in the history of our country for the middle class, for the worker, and that's the only bill that we're really talking about. We did a good job. It's very comprehensive, and I will say the Democrats, if you gave them every point that they wanted, every point that they've dreamt of all their lives, you wouldn't get one Democrat vote.
Well,
They
people
really
are
are.
agreeing
They
with Trump in the
become
chat. People who thought they never would
It's
are
crazy.
currently
If you
agreeing
gave
with
them a
chat.
list of the
RFK,
top
poor
10
dude,
things
got
that the
cooked.
Democrats
Someone
wanted,
said.
and you put them in a bill to get passed, you wouldn't get one vote. It's the only thing they have. They stick together, but they're dying. I mean, they down to 16% approval rating, the lowest rating in history for either party. And we have the highest rating we've ever had. The Republicans have the highest rating we've ever had.
On the National Guard, have you decided which city that you want to go into?
Yeah, I have. I have. I'm not going to say it now, but yeah, I have. We're going to go into another place and straighten it out. And I will say this: I watched today. I didn't know that was continuing to go on, but Portland is unbelievable. What's going on in Portland? The destruction of the city. Well, I'm going to look at it now because
The
I
destruction
didn't
of
know that
Portland.
was still going on. This has been going on for years.
Portland, Oregon?
So we'll
Or Portland,
be able
Maine?
to stop that very easily. We'll be able to stop it. But that was not on my list, Portland. But when I watched television last night, this has been going on. You wouldn't be standing if you were the mayor. You would be. Can you imagine what they're doing? They're walking in throwing smoke bombs into the store. These are paid terrorists. Okay. These are paid agitators. These are professional. I watched that last night. I'm very good at this stuff. These are paid agitators. They get paid money by radical left groups.
You
Not
can't say
radical
that
right
every
groups, radical
protest or
left
something
groups.
is all just a
And
bunch
they
of
get
paid
a lot of
actors.
money. And you see it with the signs. They all have perfect signs that are printed.
They're there.
They look as good as that sign. Those signs aren't made
not
in
everybody.
basements. They're made at professional printing offices, and they cost a lot of money. These are paid agitators, and they're very dangerous for our country. And when we go there, if we go to Portland, we're going to wipe them out. They're going to be gone.
Portland,
And they're gonna be
Oregon,
gone.
yeah.
They won't even stand the fight. They will not stay there. They've ruined that city. I have people that used to live in Portland. They've left. Most of them have left. But what they've done to that place is it's like living in hell. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like living
Thank
in
you for
hell
your
in
statement.
Portland, Oregon?
AP is reporting that.
Please, I hope somebody in here is in Portland right now. Tell me, are you in hell?
Including Brazil.
Let the chat know if you're in Portland, Oregon, and it feels like hell.
Well, I don't. We are talking about things. We're very upset with Brazil. We tariff them very high because of the fact that they're doing something that's, very unfortunate. I love the people of Brazil. We have a great relationship with the people of Brazil, but the government of Brazil has changed.
Someone says I'm in Portland right now. It's actually amazing.
It's gone very radical left, and it's hurting Brazil very badly. They're doing very poorly, very, very poorly.
Trump says you guys are in hell.
We need to reset relations with India at this point.
I always will. I'll always be friends with Modi. He's great. Prime Minister. He's great. I'll always be friends, but I just don't like what he's doing at this particular moment. But India and the United States have a special relationship. There's nothing to worry about. We just have moments on occasion.
How are trade talks going with India and with other countries that you haven't reached a trade deal with?
They're going great. Other countries are doing great. We're doing great with all of them. We're upset with the European Union because of what's happening with not just Google, but with all of our big companies. They just, hit them with these unbelievable fines. $17 billion.
A little bit of conjecture there at the end. I don't know, ChatGPT.
And they use that money to run Europe. It's almost become like common. It's almost become a yearly occurrence, like it's a tax. And so it's very unfair. I want to thank you all very much, and we'll see you around. We're going to see you in Florida, but we'll see you a little bit before that, I suspect. Okay?
What are you having for dinner?
Thanks, guys.
Well, I'll be having something good here. I'll be at the White House.
Thank you.
I'll be having
Thank you
something
very
good?
much.
You're talking about dinner?
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, there you have it. Please like the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Find me on Instagram, TikTok. I've got a link to my Substack down in the description of the video. I feel like there's a lot of people here that don't usually watch. So, I put out daily reports of all the world news going on. There's no bias. There's no narrative. There's no agenda. I boil down as many of the facts of a situation as I can, and then I present it in what I hope is kind of an interesting and fun way. Thank you, Jordan. Think we'll ever get the transparency we deserve? No, I don't. I do not think that we will get the transparency we deserve. Now, it's debatable on how much we deserve, of course, but I just don't think transparency is really... I think we've gotten a lot of transparency recently with this current administration. I think that they want to be transparent and that they are being transparent, but that, you asked about what we deserve, and do I think we know everything there is to know? Of course not. And I don't think we ever will. We'll see. Long Island stands with Portland. Okay. Come to Mar-a-Lago, everyone, someone says. Love the content. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving a shit. Make sure that you are subscribed in multiple places because I never know where I'm going to get shadow banned. Hit the like, share it with people, and have a great day.